Hi, BostonBest0407. I hope you're doing good. And this is a response to your video on YouTube, which was called Dangers of Utopia and the Nature of Freedom, I believe. It's your recent video. I thought I'd jump in and try to defend Utopia a bit here because I'm a bit of a utopian myself. I basically believe that, well, by some definitions, utopia is a good and helpful thing. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I do have some utopian views of my own. Anyway, the kind of definition of utopianism that I would defend is, if we just define it as being talking about an alternative society that's very different to our own, that the utopian believes is going to be better in some particular way, like for example everybody's going to be a bit happier, or there's going to be more equality and everything else will be the same, or the society is going to be more productive. So an example of a utopian view, as I'm defining it, would be to say that if we got rid of money, everybody would be happier. It's in theory a kind of testable, measurable thing. Most people would agree that everyone being happier, or most people on average being happier, would be a good thing. Well, other examples might be getting rid of the state would make everyone happier, or getting rid of the state would make everyone more productive, or getting rid of the state would make, insert anyway, some radical change in society, and the claim would be that some factor in society that everyone thinks is probably, or most people think is a good thing, would be improved by it. Now basically, I suppose why I think this utopianism is quite good is that I really can't dismiss all of these ideas. I mean, some of them might be right. I mean, I personally adhere to this system of my own, which is called preference equality, which is you might not like because it's one of these radically egalitarian things. Basically, I think that if everybody was made equal by the state, in terms of preference satisfaction, we would have a kind of, I don't know if we'd be happier straight away, but we'd have a saner world where probably humanity's survival would be more, would be safer, and I think eventually we'd be healthier and maybe happier. But even in terms of the other utopias that I'm a bit more skeptical about, I still think it might be useful to talk about these things. I mean, I believe we're better off with the state than without it, but it gets you thinking. If somebody claims let's get rid of the state altogether, it sort of forces us to think, so what is it about the state that we need? It's not completely obvious, you know, what the answer to that question is, or people might come up with different answers, so it kind of provokes thought-provoking, which I think is really good. Now you talk about it being dangerous. I agree in the past that I suppose arguably utopians have caused a lot of violence and death and stuff. I think you mentioned communism in your video. I suppose I don't know if you need utopianism to have a revolution. I mean, the Russian Revolution, I don't know if it really needed utopians to just kind of drive it. Maybe. In which case, yes, utopianism has caused a lot of violence, but then again, you could sort of blame it on the fact that they were violent utopians. Well, we could, it's just like with religious people, you can divide them into the the violent ones and the non-violent ones. So looking to the future, I think probably the key thing is to that we should be worried about violent utopians and not non-violent ones. So, for example, some modern utopians would be the Zeitgeist movement. I don't know if you know much about these guys. I've been vaguely involved with them. From what I've seen of them, there's no sign that they're violent or revolutionary in the violent sense than I've seen. So, just like religious people, some religious people, they're probably fairly safe. So that's really my defense of Utopia. Yeah, I'd say if one of these, I've said this before in a video, but if one of these ideas is even vaguely sort of viable, it's worth maybe £1 billion or two doing a kind of big experiment of setting up a town with without the state interfering, or setting up a town without money, and so on. A last point is you talk in a video, and you've talked in other videos, about being a Nietzschean or being some semi-Nietzschean, and not really believing in morality, or being skeptical about morality. Now I am a moral skeptic, in the sense I don't think you can prove moral claims, but still I think in terms of society, in terms of these questions I've been talking about, I see them as, they can just be seen as practical questions. I mean, what society exists, or we exist as people exist, and there are lots of them, and we have to run society one way or another, or choose not to make any rules, I suppose, is another option. But like, we have to, for example, drive on the left or drive on the right, or use direct current or alternating current with the electricity. And I see that these decisions, like, are we going to have money, are we not going to have money, they can be seen as practical questions. And I don't really see why not being able to prove morality makes you think that we should just be more individualistic. Maybe that's another question for another video. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that one in. BostonBest0407, keep up the good videos, and I'll talk to you soon.